A lot of people ask me when I was a positive news reporter, who was the most positive person you ever covered? And I say, without a doubt, it's this fellow right here named Brett Eastburn, Midwest kid. Well, now he's in his 40s. But his book is I'm Not Missing Anything. And I would get all these ideas from viewers. Charlie, you should do your positive story on such and such. And they said, this guy said he was born with no arms and no legs, but he is not handicapped or disabled, in his opinion. And they said, he's speaking at a school, so you ought to get there and cover it. So I went, and I was blown away by the guy. I've known him now for 13 years. His attitude has stayed as positive as possible. And I watched him mesmerize these kids, and then I learned his story. When Brett was born, his mother and father, you can imagine, they get this baby with no arms and legs. And the mother was grateful because she had had a miscarriage, and she was so thankful this baby was healthy. And the dad was like, look what I made. He was like 1 pound 9 ounces. And yet they didn't make it easy on him. When he was older than that, they made him figure out things. Like to get up to the counter, he had to do the drawers in the kitchen like steps. And he got a Tonka dump truck to put his chest in to get around the house. Eventually, he got a regular wheelchair, and they hoped to get a motorized one. He's in these Midwest winters trying to make it. But what he did was one time at school, his mom was doing his wash. And she noticed all these $1 bills, and he's in elementary school. Was it when he had the motorized chair? And she goes, what's up with this? He said, well, at lunchtime, the kids loved this motorized chair. He was charging them $1 a ride. He was pulling in about $23 a day. He wasn't a victim. No. And then, you know, we tell young people, find your passion, find something. He tried out for the basketball team. He didn't make it. But at wrestling, and you know what? He had a strong upper body. The opponents didn't know what to do with him. Next thing you know, he had them. He became a darn good coach. And sense of humor. Some buddies would pick him up for practice, and they'd get him in the thing, in their van, and he'd go, oh, shoot, I forgot my shoes. And they'd run back. And the guy'd go, and Brad would go, gotcha. Oh, he's a piece of work. He found humor in everything. One time he was at a school social, and he had a date, and she wanted a pop. So he went over to the machine. It was a big bowling alley, and the kids way down didn't know who he was. And he was trying to get the can. It got stuck, so he had his stub up in there. Kid comes over, sees this, and goes, what the heck? And Brett realized it was an opportunity for a joke. He goes, it's eating my arm. It's eating my arm. And the kid spun around and ran back the other way. But Brett ended up, he taught himself to play pool, and one night he met a woman named Chrissa at the pool hall, and she saw his attitude, and she liked him, and he liked her, and he asked her out. So he shows up at their house, and the dad doesn't know much about who's coming, opens the door, and there he is. Brett with his stubs goes, don't worry, sir, I will not lay a hand on your daughter. One of the first times a future father-in-law has carried the son in because they didn't have a handicapped accessible house. And they went out for a date, hit it off, and then he got her a dozen red roses. And he said, I can only do this one other time. She goes, why? He said, it cost me an arm and a leg. Some were corny, but he kept them coming. And she had told herself the first guy to get her a dozen red roses she felt would be a sign of who she would marry. And he asked her to marry him at the little place, Nick's Patio, a diner, that they went on their first date. And they've been married now for 13 years. She goes with him as he speaks across the country. He's a great speaker. He's now a comedian. Said he would have been on that show last, Comic Standing, but he can't stand. And he has just made amazing things with his life. And I've known him 13 years, and I thought sometimes speakers can put on a show in front of the audience, but then they get cynical. Not him. The most positive person I've ever met. And if you have a chance, if you want to write it down, and his website is BrettEastburn.com. That's BrettEastburn.com, and that's his book. I've read it twice, underlined it. Just a powerful, powerful tool.